Hey y'all, tonight we have Gregory, obviously. But we have the story of Xzavious Brown. And tonight we're going to pose the question, what is excessive sentencing? So in the case of Xzavious Brown, we're going to bring in his mother, Maddie Vaughn, as well. So Xzavious went to prison. Well, he actually was incarcerated when he was 21 for a snatch and grab. He admits to doing the snatch and grab. No one was hurt, no one was killed, but he did participate in a snatch and grab. While he was incarcerated in Douglas County Jail, he also had a botched escape. It looked like one of the other. Okay, good. One of the other inmates actually took one of the guards and handcuffed him to a bed in another cell, and they attempted to escape from Douglas County Jail. In their efforts to escape, they were charged with kidnapping, although they used a very dated law. And the way that they were charged with kidnapping was actually the feds picked the case up and charged them with kidnapping. And this should have stayed a state case. Had it stayed a state case, then he wouldn't be serving life in prison. So before we get too much in the case and into the story, I have some letters and things that he's written to me, and a couple of things on the case, like a few details. So we're going to actually talk to Miss Maddie. I'm going to bring her in right now. Hi, Miss Maddie.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good.
Miss Natalie.
No, that's Miss Maddie.
Hi, Miss Nat.
Gregory. The joys of a 5-year-old.
Hey, can you hear me clearly? I can hear you a little bit.
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you just fine. Find me his picture. Oh, here it is. I have the picture of your baby boy too.
Okay.
That you lent me, that I told you I'd return to you.
Okay.
And I promise you I'm gonna return your son's picture to you. So what's it been like knowing that so let me say this too. Mr. Brown to date has been sitting in prison for almost 30 years for a crime that he committed at 21. He went to prison at 23. So what's the last 30 years been like for you? Like doing time with your son?
Oh, it just been hard. When he was in prison in Atlanta, I would go and visit him. But since they had moved him from Atlanta, I haven't seen him. And,
when's the last time that you saw him?
Oh Lord, it's been years. It's been years. I guess maybe early late 80s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And he's in Virginia now, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what's it been like? Like, it's one thing to not be able to see him and talk to him. What was
we
it
talk
like?
on the phone.
Okay. What was it like when he first went in as opposed to now?
Oh Lord, honey, it was rough. It was rough. I stayed upset about it and cried about it, and it was just rough.
Yeah.
You know, as the years went on, he had two guys had gotten out of prison. They was gonna talk to their lawyer to help getting him out. Nothing never came from that.
Yeah. You know, we were supposed to have done this story, and I'm going to say this out loud. We were supposed to have covered his story a month and a half ago. And one of the gentlemen who was an accomplice who Mr. Brown failed and refused to name, which is why he's sitting in prison for so long, actually has been out for what's it been, like 2 years? And because of that, because of that, I'm sorry, I got distracted. Someone asked if they can do a fundraiser to raise money for you to go see your son in the chat. Mr. L or OOF Ellis asked if they can do his fundraisers so that you can go see your son. So, anywho, and the answer is yes, you can. Miss Maddie is an elderly citizen who also takes care of her grandbaby. So I'm sure. Stop. You're not going to the birthday party. This is the life of a single mother. So anywho, Miss Maddie is an elder who also takes care of her grandson. So I'm sure that she would love the thought of being able to go see her son in Virginia. But the question that I was asking was, when he was first sentenced at 21, as opposed to now, I know that when I speak to him, it seems as if he's made some peace with where he's at. He sounds a little frustrated, but like there's a level of peace. And when I talk to him, he seems like he wants out more for the impact on you and just everything that you've sacrificed with basically doing time with him.
Well, I'll be glad when he get out. You know, he meets peoples in prison and people that comes and visit their friends, and they always make promise they gonna help him and never come through. Now this
Right.
here what was doing 2009. He had two friends to get out. And one of them supposed to came to my house and let me meet him, and he was gonna talk to his lawyer to help Xzavious, but the man never showed up. Another one got out, and he was gonna have his lawyer contact Xzavious to help him get out. That never happened. It was a man that came to the prison that he helps people to get out. He came and talked to Xzavious. I think he was in Virginia then, but nothing ever came to that. So, you know, it's just a standstill. I met a lawyer where I talked with his secretary quite a bit on the phone during the late part of 2000. I think it was around 2016. They was gonna charge me 3,500 to get him out, but I never did come up with the money. So I just kept her phone number just in case, if I was to come up with the money. They located somewhere in Mayweather, but I never did go to the office because I didn't have the money, and I kept calling, making promises that when I'm gonna get it, but it never came through. So she told me that she'll be there whenever I need her. So I never talked back with her.
So when she said that she would charge you 3,500, because this is something that I've been running across with advocating and supporting people and organizing for those who are sitting incarcerated. Was that for her to take the case or review the case? Because a lot
take the case.
Okay.
And she said he can get out, but it would take a lawyer to go before the judge. But I never did come up with the money.
Okay. All right. And when was the last time that you spoke with her?
Oh, it might have been. Oh Lord, it might have been. Well, I can't remember. It might have been in 2018.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna read some of the stuff that your son has sent me. See, I've included a copy of the statute I was charged under. This is an extreme statute. So we're going to go to the statute.
I'm a snack.
So, well, we're going to go to the definition of kidnapping. So this is what they use to actually charge him. Kidnapping, 1201, kidnapping. A, whoever unlawfully seizes, confines, inveigles, decoys, kidnaps, abducts, or carries away and holds for ransom or reward, or otherwise any person, except in the case of a minor by the parent thereof, when 1, the person is willfully transported in interstate or foreign commerce, regardless of whether the person was alive when transported across the state boundary, or the offender travels in interstate or foreign commerce, or used the mail or any means, facility, or instrumentality of interstate or foreign commerce in committing or in furtherance of the commission of the offense. 2, any such act against the person is done within the special maritime and territorial jurisdiction of the United States. 3, any such act. Hold on, Miss Maddie. I'm going to pull you out for a quick second. Any such act against the person is done within the special aircraft jurisdiction of the United States as defined in Section 46501 of Title 49. 4, the person is a foreign official, an internationally protected person, or an official guest, as those terms are defined in Section 116B of this Title 18 USCS 1116B, or this is what they got them with. The person is amongst those officers and employees described in Section 1114 of this Title 18 USCS 1114, and any such act against the person is done while the person is engaged in or on account of the performance of official duties, shall be punished by imprisonment for any term of years or for life, and if the death of any person results, shall be punished by death or life imprisonment. And he said no death occurred, no one was even injured, and they still gave me life without parole. So what Xzavious argues isn't so much did he do it, he just thinks that it's excessive. What's that, Miss Maddie? Is that pictures?
Oh, I had to speak up to my ear because I can't hardly hear. I can't hardly hear you.
Let me see if I can turn up my volume some more. I don't know if can you hear me better now? Can you hear me better now? Okay.
I have my volume up before it's to go, and I can't hardly hear you.
Okay. I don't know. Okay, let me see if I can just speak up a little louder for you. Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Okay. So with Mr. Brown, some of the other things that he said is and for this conduct, I was basically given the death penalty. And he's been there for 29 and a half years. And from what I'm to understand, he's the only one that refused to name an accomplice. Everybody else, that's fine. Send them the voicemail. Everybody else named an accomplice except for him. And then with that botched escape, they didn't charge the person that actually sent the police or put the police officer in the cell. They charged him with kidnapping, and they let the other they didn't give the other person any time. So I don't understand how he could get such excessive time where he has life, and he got life at 23. And all of the parties are either out or on their way out. Yeah, because his friend that was supposed to have been on a couple of weeks ago, he was concerned about probation. And he's been out now for what, 2 years?
Oh, no, about a year now.
A year? Okay.
Yes.
Yep. And he was concerned about his probation officer. And so he didn't want to do the show. Um, but what are your thoughts, Miss Maddie, when it comes to the different people who have said, we know he shouldn't be there. And
Well, they from the beginning, he got railroad from the beginning, and it just sad, how they doing him. And he said that the kidnapping charge shouldn't be on him.
yeah, because he's not the one that actually um touched, moved the officer.
Yeah,
Kidnapping is typically defined as anytime you move someone at least 6 feet. That's the definition of kidnapping in Georgia. But because this is a federal charge, the feds picked it up instead of the state. Um, they said that it's kidnapping because it was um a um a guard, a police officer, a guard, and
didn't
because
nobody get out the building, so why would they say a kidnap?
they used an old statute. That's what he was saying. That's what I just read. The old statute that they used to be able to charge him with kidnapping. So, and the feds had to pick it up to use that statute because he didn't touch the person. And the when the botched uh, escape happened, they actually went and asked him, okay, so now are you ready to name your accomplices in the snatch and grabs? And he said no. And because he wouldn't name names, which, makes sense, um, they gave him an excess sentence because to date, he's never named names. His accomplices named him, they took a plea deal and
Yeah, and
named
see
him.
that guy that told on him, where they was supposed to be cutting his time. When they got through doing the investigation, they found out that that guy had did a bank robbery. Uh, he had killed someone, and he had did another robbery somewhere else. But when they got through doing their investigation, they didn't even cut this man time because he had did a murder.
Oh, wow. I thought he got 10 years.
No, there might be somebody else,
Okay.
but the guy that told on my son, they were supposed to been cutting his time,
Oh, so
and
they went back on the plea deal because they found other charges.
yeah,
Hmm.
so I heard that he's out, but I don't understand it, and it ain't been proven to me that he really is out. It was just, he'll say.
Yes, ma'am. Wow.
But if he is out, how can he do all this crime plus a murder and get out? And then my son he's sitting in jail.
Or prison. Yeah. Like when I
Yeah.
talked to him, I was talking to him about the show and I said, well, when the show is over, I'll send you a copy. And he was like, since he's doing Fed time, they don't have tablets. He really doesn't have access to phones. Like he'll call me and he'll core link me. But other than that, you know, it's rough. And one time I spoke with him and they'd been on lockdown for like 3 or 4 days. So I hadn't spoken to him. Um, but he seems like he's holding it together. But he's trying every avenue that he can think of because in his case, he needs a clemency, not a retrial, not anything like that. And the only, and the clemency has to come from the president to be able to get him out because of the sentence and the fact that it's a federal charge. It's life on a federal level. So he can't go through the governor or anything. It's not a state charge. So that's what his words were to me. So looking for any resource that I might have or anyone in my circle or network might have. That's, I can't make any promises, but we're going to do whatever we can do to at least try to get his story heard. That's all we can do. That is all we can do.
Yeah. Well, it just rough.
Yeah, he seems to be a decent guy too. Like, one of the gentlemen that I did speak to, um, that was released said, he was just young and he got caught up and he's had a bad time with it all. Like, he's just been dealt a bad hand with this case. And that's what the gentleman said to me. Like, he deserves to be out and he deserves to be free and he deserves to live his life.
Well, it's gonna take somebody powerful to do it.
Yep, they sure will. They sure will. And we're going to fight and we're going to try to get this in the hands of somebody that can make the difference in his story and in his case. I don't know what that looks like, Miss Maddie. Looks like you might have to make me some cornbread and some collard greens.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yes,
It is
ma'am.
rough.
Yes, ma'am. So let me see if I can find the picture of Xzavious. I just downloaded it. I think I downloaded it. I can still hear you, Miss Maddie, if you want to continue speaking. And so can everyone else. Open with. Okay, let me see. I'm going to cut to a quick picture of your son, okay?
Okay.
Let me see. This will be Mr. Brown today, recently. And yeah, this is Mr. Brown, Xzavious Brown. Let me see. It's not letting me put it in there. It's like I share with people when everyone's protesting and rallying and organizing. And it's like we talk about the police brutality, but we sometimes forget to talk about these excessive charges. And we have people who are doing time who really need to be free and freed up, and they need to go home to their families. And I feel like in the case of your son, he really needs to go home to you and to his
Yeah.
family because he's been there for 30 years in life. That's just excessive. It's inhumane, it's cruel, and it's excessive. And no one should have to serve that kind of time when there's been no one harmed. It would be different if someone was murdered. It would be different if there were children involved. It would be different. I mean, there's all types of situations, not to say that he didn't commit a crime, just saying it's excessive. Like after 30 years, let him live his life, you know?
Yes.
So that's my stand on it, and that's my view on it. So, I don't know who this Ellis is, but said, can we start a fundraiser to raise money for you to go see your son? How will we? How would you like to give out your Facebook or your email address so that anyone can reach out to you regarding a fundraiser for you to go see your son? Is this something that would interest you?
Well, that would be kind of hard because I don't want to get on an airplane. I don't want to get on that.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, if they can just do a fundraise, the pay a lawyer, get a lawyer to come in and help him, that would be all right with me.
Bring him home.
Yeah. If somebody out there can team up with you to get to the right person, can get him out, use that money for that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Whew.
I would love for him to come home. I gave birth to him, and a white man raised him. So, it's time for him to come home. They done had him long enough.
Yes, ma'am. Miss Maddie, you gonna make me tear up.
Well, her mind done dried up. I done cried a lot of days and a lot of nights. I
Bet.
keep getting prayer for him, and I'm still waiting on the Lord to touch somebody's heart that will help him to get out.
Yeah. And I heard of Mr. Brown actually from one of the women who's an activist, Miss Denise, and she's the one who introduced me to Mr. Brown and his story. So I just want to say thank you to her for all of the work that she's been doing to try to keep hope alive for him while he's in there, and to share his story with as many people as she knows. That's where I got the picture from. Um, so yeah. So thank you, Miss Maddie. I'm gonna put you in the back. You'll be in here. You can look on Facebook online as well to see everything that I'm talking about. I'm just gonna talk about some of the things going on in the media, as far as I I want to go talk about some of the things in the media, but my heart is with you right now. I'm
Yeah.
raising little black boys, and I can only imagine. That's all I can say is I can only imagine. And Gregory just be into everything. And he squirts my little clock one more time with his water gun. Tell me he cleaning. But I can only imagine. Stop squirting me with the water gun. Stop squirting me. So, yeah, I can only imagine. But a mother's love goes far, and it doesn't cease.
Yeah, it do. It never ends.
It really don't. So, thank you for being my guest. Is there anything else that you'd like to share about your son?
Well, there ain't too much I can say because he been gone from me a long time. When he was at home with me, he went to school and he was hanging out with children. Then he got to hanging out with some more guys that were here in Atlanta visiting, and that's where his trouble started. He met some guys that came to Atlanta. They lived in Arkansas, and he started hanging with those two guys, and that's where his trouble started.
So they were
He left
visiting from
home to be with
Arkansas?
them, and he started getting into trouble.
They were visiting from Arkansas?
These two guys lived in Arkansas, and they was coming to Atlanta to visit some people that they knew.
Wow.
In some kind of way, they met up with my son, and they become friends, and he started traveling with them.
Hmm.
And that been the last time that I had my hands on him.
How old was he?
Oh, I don't know how old Xzavious was then.
Is he 14?
Wow. They say listen to your mama when it comes to choosing your friends.
Yeah, it is. They won't listen. If he hadn't been listening, he would never got tied up in that. He used to go out of town with them, forget about school. He'll come back, and when they come back in town, he leave with them again. And that was the end of it.
Wow. Wow. Is that when he started doing the snatch and grabs?
Yeah.
Stop, Gregory, or you're not going to Jonathan's birthday party this weekend. I got to threaten him with birthday parties. That's the only thing that works. Like, stop it, or you're not going to the birthday party this weekend. Wow. So, beyond the snatch and grabs, had he been in any other trouble before that?
No.
Yeah, I thought that this was like his first real incident.
Yeah, this is his first one.
So this, if he, no, we don't play with guns.
Bryce plays with guns.
So
Bryce even has a gun.
Stop. Bryce does not have a gun.
So what's that power gun?
It's pellets. So
this is a water
I'm
gun.
searching for my question for you. If he would have stayed on a state level, would they have charged him with the first offender as a first offender?
Oh no. I don't know.
Because he had, let me see. They actually charged him with counts. Let's see. Brown was sentenced under count 1 to a term of incarceration of 60 months. Brown was sentenced on counts 2, 4, and 6 to a term of incarceration of 120 months to run concurrently with count 1. Brown was sentenced under counts 3, 5, and 7 to a term of incarceration for life to run concurrently with each other and concurrently with the sentence imposed in counts 1, 2, 4, and 6. Upon release from imprisonment, the defendant shall be on supervised release for a term of 5 years. The defendant was ordered to pay a special assessment of $350 for all counts. And they have him in maximum security too, right?
Who they have Xzavious in there?
Yeah, he's in maximum security prisons, right?
I don't know what kind of prison he is.
Yeah, Brown was jailed in the maximum security area on the second floor of the jail, known as 2 Max, alone in cell 218. That's when he was at Douglas County. But
Why was he in Douglas County?
Well, when he did the snatch and grabs, they had him in Douglas County awaiting trial. And while he was in Douglas County, one of the other inmates who was in the adjacent cell decided that they wanted to break out of the jail. And when they broke out of the jail, let me see. And they said Dodson and Brown planned to escape from the Douglas County jail by subduing Houston, getting his keys, handcuffing him to a cell bed, going down the fire escape, exiting the west door, going into the recreation yard, and climbing over the fence. So when he did that, that's when they charged him with kidnapping. Although he's not the one that subdued the police officer, the other guy did. And Houston and the other guy, they didn't charge with kidnapping. They only charged your son, according to your son in the conversations that we've had. And then when they charged him, the feds picked it up, and under under the extreme statute, they picked it up and charged him with kidnapping under an old statute, which was the persons among those officers and employees described in section 114 of this title, and any such act against the person is done while the person is engaged in or on account of the performance of official duties. And so, because they imprisoned someone that was an officer, for better choice of words, that is punished by imprisonment for any term of years or for life. And if the death of any person results, shall be punished by death or life imprisonment, because it was a security guard. But when they actually caught your son and the other man, when they caught your son and Dodson, well, from what I'm to understand from your son, Brown, they actually asked him, who were your accomplices? Are you ready to tell us who your accomplices with the snatch and grab? And because he said no, that's why they charged him excessively. And why the federal government picked it up. Because he wouldn't name names.
Oh well. So they rough for him to be in prison for life.
Because he wouldn't name names. But he said that he just, he actually said, well, that's what the paper says. So he said that he didn't have anything to, like, that he wasn't the one that actually subdued the police officer or the guard and handcuffed him to a cell bed. But kidnapping, that's what I said, is considered, if you move someone more than 6 feet in the state of Georgia, that's kidnapping. But because this is a federal case, the fact that he was an officer who was held against his free will, that classifies as kidnapping on a federal level.
Mm. Oh well.
Yep. So that's what they're holding him. I mean, they're holding him on different things, but that's really what they're holding him on, the kidnapping charge.
Uh-huh.
And that's what he's fighting for.
Well, do you think he'll stand a chance getting out?
I can't answer that. All I can say is I'll share his story with my resources and my contacts, and that's all that I can say, because I don't want to give any kind of false hope or make any false promises. But I'll share it. I mean, there's some things that I'm working on that may help, and I share it with him, some of those things. This we stand a better chance of people being released from jail in masses when we impact public policy than when we fight one individual case. So when we look at things like excessive laws, we have to start getting our voices out there by sharing what is considered an excessive law, what is considered excessive time. Does the crime fit the charge? Does it make sense for someone who didn't harm anyone, first offender, to be spending life imprisonment? What's it costing the taxpayers? How does this impact our foreign relations? When we look at all of those things, it's like, and we look at it from that standpoint, does it make sense for him to be sitting in prison compared to the emotional appeal of this is just not right, which is not right. And in talking to elected officials and public policy makers, like we have to identify the language that's being utilized, and we have to stand in that. We have to start advocating as far as 30 years gone to prison at 23. When is enough enough? When are they gonna stop taking our kids, our kids, our youth, our husbands, our daughters? I love you too, baby. Our fathers, our mothers. Like, when is enough enough? What constitutes excessive? And 30 years constitutes excessive when there was no party that was involved that was hurt or harmed.
Yeah.
No, to my knowledge, no one was hit upside the head. No one was shot. No one was stabbed. No one was cut. No one was maimed. And so, does life justify the crime? And I don't think so.
Well, there have been men that went to prison for wrongdoing, stayed in there 30, 40 years and got out. So
yeah. So there was a case that Xzavious had mentioned about somebody who let me see if it's in this letter. Yep. They just had a white boy on the news charged with 20 counts of child molestation, and all he got was 25 years with parole eligibility. So how can you have 20, not one, not two, but 20? Stop. Counts. Stop. You're not going. Stop. No. Stop. 20 counts and be eligible for parole. So 20 counts.
yeah.
So Miss Maddie, I'm going to make it a point to see you, if not this week, next week, beginning of the week, to bring you your son's picture.
Okay.
Or maybe even this weekend, but I'm going to get you your son's picture back to you soon, okay?
What? Say it again.
All righty.
Say bye to Miss Maddie.
Bye, Miss Nad.
Bye.
Miss Nad.
Stop. His therapist's name is Natalie. So he keeps calling you Miss Natalie. So I support child therapy. Talk therapy, not medication. But yeah, thank you, Miss Maddie.
You're
and
welcome.
Thank you for your strength and your courage, like, to endure all of this and stand by your son.
Yeah. Well, it took a long time for me to get to this spot.
But you're there now.
Oh, yes.
You're there now. Thank
Your
you, Miss.
time I wouldn't say nothing by. I wouldn't even mention his name.
What changed? What was the shift?
Well, prayer, because I stayed in prayer line and, talked to the Lord about it. That helps.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, thank you.
Bye.
And enjoy your evening.
All righty. You too.
All right. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ooh. So, what do y'all think? Huh. Hold on. We have a good statement here. Malcolm X said it best, the bullet or the ballot. So far, the ballot hasn't worked. And I'd like to tear up. And you know, we all are dealing with things that some people would never know about. And Miss Maddie's been dealing with this for almost 30 years. Her baby boy is sitting incarcerated, first offender, on charges such as these that were picked up by the feds. And that's another topic too. Like, who determines when the feds get involved versus the state? And who determines when these, like, there was a case recently where the person had served fed time and then the state picked the charges back up. And vice versa. I have a friend who served 5 years state time and then the feds picked the case up. And then he had to serve time again. So it's like, come on. When do we actually look at recidivism and rehab and restorative justice and healing and not trauma bonding? And how do we, restore our people to whole and complete without these excessive charges? So someone said that's double jeopardy. It is double jeopardy, but some kind of way they get away with it all the time. So thank you for chiming in. And I'm going to end this broadcast a few minutes early because y'all see my little one is running around. I'm tearing up. And, I wanted to talk about the young man. I mean, they're in Michigan that got shot in the back of the head by the police. But there's just so much going on in this world right now with us as people. And we can't just keep on with business as usual, acting like unless it lands in our front yard or backyard, like it doesn't affect us. And it affects all of us. I say brown and black people because recently it's come to my attention that, my descendants are Puerto Rican. So people ask, do you identify as black? And that's my great grandfather that's Puerto Rican. So I identify as black. I feel the black plight. I've endured living in the white neighborhoods in Buckhead and being stopped by the police in my own neighborhood. And so we got to do something about this. We got to share the resources, share the love, work together, collaborate. When you see people out here doing this work, ask what can you do? Ask what can be done. When you see the Miss Maddie's, she's raising a grandson and she's an elder. We got to take care of our elders. I was raised under the notion that we take care of our elders. So we got to take care of our elders. We got to check in on them. And it can't just be one or two of us. So have a good night. And I hope to see y'all next week. And I'm not going to cry. And thank y'all for chiming in and tuning in. And yeah.
this. I like 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 this.